right, so for today, I start looking at questions 15. We're going to work 15 through 22. We're going to learn how to classify angles, right? If we know the number exactly, that helps us out, but sometimes we have to trust our sight. There's going to be 4 different names: acute, obtuse, right, or straight, okay? So let me use the word, let me write them up here. Acute, obtuse, right, and straight. Those are our 4 possible names, okay? Now, an acute angle, sounds like, cute. Okay, so acute, again, cute. Girls tend to be better than guys at this, because girls have this thing called feelings. Guys, yeah, we're not that great with feelings, but girls tend to have feelings. Now, when would a girl say, cute? When they see something small. Okay, so our acute angles are small angles. Now, what does small mean? What does small mean in here? It's less. It's any numbered. Let me use red for this. It's any numbered less than 90. So any angle that is less than 90 degrees, those are what we call the small angles. So those are what we called acute. Again, it sounds like, cute, small angles. Now, obtuse are big angles. So we're going to say more than 90. Now, angles cannot be negative. So when it comes acute, we said less than 90, but we cannot be negatives, right? So a number between 0 and 90, reality. Now, obtuse could be more than 90, but the biggest it could be is 180, okay? So there's a limit. There's a limit how big they can be. So any number between 90 and 80. So less than 90 is acute. More than 90 is obtuse. What about 90? It's not acute and it's not obtuse. 90, it's right angle. So 90 degrees. Now, interesting though. Interesting of figures. A 90-degree angle, it's in the shape of an L. Okay? So 90-degree angle is in the shape of L. So what will be less than 90? So imagine an L shape and just close it a little. So something like this, that looks less than 90, right? It's an L shape and close it. What about more than 90? We'll start with an L shape because the L shape is 90 and open the angle a little bit more. So something like that. Now straight, the name kind of says it, straight. I'm expecting the shape to be straight. Now, what about number-wise? How big is that? Let's see. When I look at the angle of a line, it looks like that. It looks like half of a circle. You guys have heard 360 is the whole circle. So how about half of a circle? Yeah, 180. When it comes to numbers, it's 180. So if we know the numbers, it's easy. Sometimes I'm going to ask you guys to just trust your sight. So looking at number 15, is that acute, obtuse, right, or straight? Yep, I'm going to call that acute. What about 16? It looks like an L shape, just going to the left, but it looks like an L shape. So in that case, I'm going to call this right. Cool, so it's not that bad. Acute are small angles. Remember, cute. So acute are small angles, obtuse are big angles, right are 90, and straight 180. Now let's take a look at question number 17. I'm going to use angles. I'm going to use measurement of angles, and here I'm going to solve for a letter. Then I'm going to use the value of my letter to be able to solve for an angle. In reality, what we're going to be doing here is what we call angle addition postulate. There's this rule, angle addition postulate. Okay, so angle addition, that means I'm going to be adding angles. Postulate means just the rule. What we're going to be doing, I'm going to add 2 small angles. I'm going to add this angle, which is ABC, with this other angle. So I'm going to add those two small angles, and it's going to equal this big angle. Right? Angle addition postulate means if you add two small angles are going to equal a big angle. All right. So let's take a look. My first small angle, ABC. Notice I'm using all three letters. That is this one, 20 degrees. So my first small angle is 20. Nice. The other angle, use the three letters that make that corner. Notice how I'm looking at this angle here. Look at the three letters that make that corner. Leave the vertex in the center. So I'm either going to call it ZBC or CBZ. So I'm looking at that one. And it happens to be, I'm going to use yellow for that, here. Okay, so I'm going to add this to 15x minus 1. So I added the two small angles. Cool, that's not nice. I mean, that's not bad. I added the two small angles. Now the big angle, I want you to focus. Use the three letters that make that corner. Leave the vertex in the center. I'm gonna call that angle ABC, but I know the angle ABC is 16x plus 10. So all I'm doing is I'm gonna add two small angles and equals a big angle. Okay, I'm gonna use this to be able to solve for x. So let me separate this to the equal sign. Let me combine my like terms. When it comes to letters on the left side, I just have 15x. But then I also see 20 minus 1. So I'm going to call that 19. On the right side, nothing can be combined. So let me just call this 16x plus 10. Okay, I want to combine like terms, and I want to avoid negatives if possible. So I'm going to move the letters to one side and the non-letters to the other side. So I see 15x and 16x. I want to move the smallest one. Again, I'm trying to avoid negatives. So the 15x, let me move it to the right side as a minus 15x. And this plus 10, let me move it to this other side as a minus 10. Don't forget to switch your signs. So on the left side, 19 minus 10, that's 9. On the right side, 16 minus 15. Okay, that's 1, so 1x. If the instructions were solve for x equals 9, I'm done. However, the instructions said find the measurement of angle ZBC. But I know the measurement of angle ZBC is 15x minus 1. So I want you to solve for x and then use it. So I know x equals 9, right? So I'm really asking how much is 15 times 9 minus 1. All right, use a calculator if you need to. 15 times 9 is 135. Minus 1, 134. Okay, that's not bad. Let's take a look at number 18. I'm gonna look at this small angle. So focus on that small angle. It is used by the letters I, K, L. And I know that small angle, according to this, it's 140. So my first small angle is 140. Then I'm gonna look for the other small angle. It's the angle IKJ. I can either call it IKJ or JKI. It doesn't really matter how. So JKI, I know it's 4x minus 10. So let me add 140 plus 4x minus 10 equals. So notice how I added the two small angles. Okay, so let me erase this. Now the big angle, It's this one. Am I using the letter I on that one? No. I'm going to call this angle either LKJ or JKL. In this case, let me call it JKL. So the big angle, it's 18x minus 10. So notice how I added two small angles and equals a big angle. Okay, let me separate my sides to the equal sign. Let me combine my like terms. When it comes to letters, I just have 4x. Number-wise, 140 minus 10, let me call that 130. On the right side, nothing I can combine, so let me call this 18x minus 10. Let me combine my x's. So 4x, let me move it to the other side as a minus 4x. And then minus 10, let me move it to the other side as a plus 10. Don't forget to switch signs. So letters on one side, numbers on the other. Don't forget to switch signs. So I have on the left side, 130 plus 10, it's 140. On the right side, 18 minus 4, 14x. Let me divide both sides by 14. So I get that 10 is equal to x. If the instructions were solve for x equals 10, I'm good to go. However, the instructions said find the measurement of JKL. And I know JKL is 18 times x minus 10. So in reality, I'm going 18 times 10, because I know the value of x, 18 times 10 minus 10. So I know 18 times 10 is 180. 180 minus 10 is 170. So the way we're going to do this, I'm going to add two small angles equals a big angle. That way I can solve for x. And then I'm going to look at which angle I have to solve for. All right, let me flip the page. Let's take a look at question number 19. Okay, find the value of x. Oh, now interesting. Here, what I'm going to do, I see this 2x outside. Boom, that's 2x. And I see there's one angle here and there's another angle here. What if I added everything? Let's see. What if I added everything? I'm going to go 2x plus x minus 110 plus x minus 126. If I added everything, let me emphasize this angle with this angle. Wouldn't that be the whole circle? If I add all of this, isn't that the whole circle? Now, when it comes to circles, the degree of an entire circle is 360. So in this case, I'm going to add all of this to 360. Okay, so let me separate my sides to the equal side. The left side of my equal sign, there's a bunch of things. Let me combine my like terms. 2x plus 1x plus 1x. I'm going to call that 4x. And then number-wise, negative 110, negative 126. I'm going to call that negative 236. And all of this is equal to 360. Okay, so I see 4x minus 236 equals 360. I want to have the 4x by itself. So this minus 236, let me change it as a plus 236. I'm going to move it to the other side. Don't forget to switch the sign. So that gives me that 4x equals, right, make sure you add that. That gives me 596. Okay, let me divide both sides by 4. So I want the x by itself. 596 divided by 4. Use a calculator if you need to. That gives me 149. I go back to the instructions. The instructions said, find the value of x. Okay, so just 149. You don't have to type in x equals 149. Just type in the number 149. So matter of fact, if you try on your homework, if you try typing in the word or the letter x equals, It's not going to let you. It will say your answer must be numerical only. So type in 149. And don't forget that when you submit the work, it grades itself. It grades itself automatically so you know if you're right or wrong. If it's wrong, go ahead and try it again. Let's take a look at number 20. Okay, so here's 240. This whole thing is 240. Part of it here is 12 plus x, and this other part right here, it is x plus 28. So let me add everything. 240 plus 12 plus x plus x plus 28. I added everything. And again, this is equal to the whole circle. So I'm going to let this equal to 360. On the left side, let me combine my like terms. 1x plus 1x, I'm going to call that 2x. Then 240 plus 12 plus 28. Use a calculator if you need to. So I'm just going to go 240 plus 12 plus 28. Said use a calculator if you need to. That's 280. And I'm going to say all of this is equal to 360. Okay, so I want the 2x by itself. So this plus 280. Let me move it to the other side as a minus 280. So that gives me the 2x equals 360 minus 280. Use a calculator again if you need to. 360 minus 280 is 80. Okay, so I know that 2 times x equals 80. So let me divide both sides by the number in front of x. So let me divide it by 2. So I get x equals 80 divided by 2 is 40. The instructions are find the value of x. Here, x equals 40. Now let's take a look at the last 2 examples. Question number 21. When I add these 2 small angles, there's 26 and 2x. If I add those two, 26 plus 2x, I'm not going to let it equal to 360 because it's not the whole circle. I have no idea what's outside over here, so I cannot add it to the outside. Interesting though, focus right here. That's a 90 degrees, right? Interesting is that the 2 angles combined, the 2 small angles combined equals 90. Now that little red box, again, notice how I call it 90. Because we talked about this last week, that when we see a red box, that is equal to 90. So I'm going to say 26 plus 2x equals 90. So 2 angles combined equals 90. Cool. I can easily solve for x, right? I want the 2x by itself, so the 26, let me move it over as a minus 26. Don't forget to switch the sign. So 2x equals 90 minus 26. It's 64. Use a calculator if you need to. Now let me divide both sides by 2. So x equals 32, right? 64 divided by 2. The instructions were find the value of x. There you go, 32. Let's take a look at question number 22. If I add these 2 small angles, so 3x plus 1 plus 2x plus 4 equals, notice this red thing right here, that's 90, right? So those 2 small angles combined is 90. Nice, I can solve for x now. I'm gonna separate them through the equal sign. Let me combine my like terms. 3x plus 2x, that's 5x. And then I have 1 plus 4, that's 5. So I have that 5x plus 5 is equal to 90. I want the 5x by itself. So this plus 5, let me move it over as a minus 5. Don't forget to switch the sign. So that gives me that 5x is equal to 85, right? 90 minus 5 gave me 85. Let me divide by the number in front of x. So in this case, let me divide both sides by 5. So x equals to 85 divided by 5. Use a calculator if you need to. 85 divided by 5 is 17. The instructions were find the value of x. X equals 17. Again, my answer should be numerical only. So don't type in x equals, just type in 17.